So there is no need for aggressive debates amongst ourselves due to differences in opinions. Every opinion matters. Every opinion is valid. Acceptance, however. Welcome to the Keris Collector Show, the ultimate vodcast for growing your collecting skills through online video. If this is the first time you are hearing the word Keris, a Keris is a traditional, asymmetrical double-edged dagger exclusively unique to the people from the Malay archipelago. My name is Kari Johari, better known as Pak Jofe, the Keris Collector from Singapore, and you are watching the Keris Collector Show. This channel is dedicated to helping you develop a healthy collecting habit and learn how to profit from the latest collecting trends, reviews, and helpful guides. On today's video, I am going to share with you the basic foundation of what you need to know about Keris blades. So, if you are interested to know more about the heart of today's subject, the basics of a Keris blade, then this episode is definitely for you. So, without further ado, let's roll the intro and get on with the show. Do I need to powder my nose or something? Good, do I look good? Skills and... Okay, hi guys, and welcome to the Keris Collector Show. I hope you are all in good health and positive spirit always. We are at episode 7 of our weekly show. When I first started my YouTube journey back in April this year, what started out as a bi-weekly episode, I have decided to make it a weekly episode instead, with shorter duration but with bite-sized facts presented in a concise and succinct manner where possible. The show schedule and format too has been slightly adjusted, but definitely I will do my best to upload at least one informational video each week. Any other uploads or live feeds along the way can be regarded as a bonus. All this would not have been possible without your support and encouragement, and especially to all my subscribers and returning viewers, I thank you very much for your viewership. If you have not hit that subscribe button, do consider subscribing to stay updated and informed of my latest video uploads. On today's video, I'm talking about Keris blades. This topic is quite wide on its own, so I will break it down into sizable chunks so that the video will not be too long and complex. It will be continued as several short series of videos, not only for ease of reference, but most importantly, so that new enthusiasts to this subject will not be overwhelmed by the mind-boggling and mind-blowing facts related to the Keris blades. If I were to dump my entire years of experience and knowledge to you, all at once, this might happen to you.
Moments later.
So to prevent you from experiencing a massive headache, I will do my best to present each aspect at a foundational level. Now, before I start rambling away and going off tangent, let's start today's episode proper. The past few episodes I gave a brief overview of the general types of Kerises that can be found in this region. Today, we will be going deeper and more specifically into the Keris blade itself. Today, I will share the features that are generally present but not necessarily a must-have on a Keris blade. How a blade is engineered is a result of following a specific set of design standards, so to speak. What I mean by this, say a specific Keris blade style that is known by a specific name. It cannot be referred to such a name if it does not bear the features that it is named after. Leave me a comment if you are not clear on this aspect, and click on that like button while you are at it. Now, a quick disclaimer, most of the terms I use in this video will be generally referenced from the Malay language, from the Peninsular Malay regions, and the Keris examples will be from the Malay Keris diaspora. Areas outside of this region may have their own description in their native local dialect. I will not be covering each of the names given in accordance to each native region, as it would be too comprehensive for a beginner. This video series is a basic introduction specifically for beginners. So for those who are at the advanced stage or experience, do take it as a refresher or perhaps as new insights from the perspective of another collector. Do share your additional thoughts via comments if you have something to share for the benefit of new viewers. Essentially, this is how a Keris blade generally looks like, once stripped of its external fittings. A typical blade will possess the following features. Generally, the blade can either be with looks, wave-like formations, or straight with a slight curvature, which we refer to as a Bilah spokal here in Singapore. Next, the blade will have the tang. I believe it is short for Tangkai. Tangkai Bilah, as noted in some colonial documentations. In some other works, it is also referred to as the puting, but I am of the opinion the exact position where rightfully should be referred to as a puting is right here. Here is where I believe the puting is rightfully called. The next most essential part that must be present before it can be called a Keris is this part here, called the Ganjar or Gonjo in Javanese, or here in Peninsular Malay region, we may also refer to it as the Cicak, a lizard. Why? If you were to look at it from this angle, it would look like the body of a lizard. Interesting philosophy here in the context of a lizard. When in distress, a lizard generally will drop off a portion of its tail to confuse and evade its predator. Likewise, could probably be said about the Keris. When assaulted, the last course of action for self-preservation would be to release the blade from its sheath. Like how a lizard releases its tail end, a Keris blade reveals its tail end as a last resort. This reflects a much deeper thought into the psyche of the Malay mind. Very, very interesting. An additional note about the Ganjar, typically it is designed as a separate component but still coming from the same source billet, as per example in this image here. However, there are also examples where the Ganjar or Cicak is intentionally designed to be one with the blade. Meaning to say, the Ganjar is not a separate removable crosspiece, but rather formed as one. Such examples are referred to as the Se-Iras or Ganjar Se-Iras, like these examples here. They do not possess a separate crosspiece, but the design flow coincides with that of a blade with a complete Ganjar or Cicak. The key point here, to qualify the blade as a Keris, is this key feature right here. As per Woolley's definition of a Keris, G.C. Woolley's definition of a Keris is the widening at the base, without which it becomes more of a flamberge type of dagger. Now, there is a debate amongst collectors on the classification as well. Over time, we came across blades with missing Ganjar, possibly due to differences in understanding or part of an accepted native Keris tradition. Some would refer to it as a Ganjar Se-Iras. For me, if there are clear physical evidence that the Ganjar is indeed missing, I will simply refer to it as a Ganjar Hilang, reference to these images attached. These are examples of Keris blades whereby the Ganjar part is missing. There's several hypotheses as to how this came to be with the Ganjar Iras types. Briefly to mention, one of the main beliefs is these types of Kerises was catered towards defeating an opponent that exhibits inhuman abilities, like that of invulnerability and perhaps shape-shifting into another form. Interesting for an in-depth discourse, but I will preserve that for a future video. Next is the mata bilah, the pointed eye of the blade. The blade naturally tapers to a pointed end. Why is it pointy? That's because
it needs to be pointy. Round is not scary. Pointy is scary. This will put a smile on the faces of the enemy.
Some humor there. On a serious note, the eye of the blade, the mata bilah, seldom is it blunted. Interesting lingo when it comes to the mata bilah. In some school of thoughts, the blade has 3 eyes, 3 mata. The main eye at the tip and 2 eyes at the side. The edges of the blade too is referred as having eyes. Perhaps this is attributed to specific step formation in pencak silat, the traditional Malay martial art of attack and defense. In exceptionally rare blades, it will be observed as having 5 eyes. Again, this is getting to a more advanced level of discussion and exposure. I will reserve this for future videos. Now, essentially, these are the basic foundation of a Keris blade. The bilah or blade in general consists of a tangkai or tang, a ganjar or cicak, a mata, the pointed tip. Next would of course be the presence of looks or possibly without as well. With regards to how a blade is named in accordance to specific design elements that must be present, these terms are often used interchangeably. Ricikan, dapo, prabots, bangunan. All these terms, in summary, refer to design elements. Specific named traditional Keris types such as Saras, Tokchu, Malay, Sempena, and many more will have known design traits that must be present before it can be referred to by such name types. Here is a sneak peek as to what I will be presenting in my next video. In this illustration, which was referenced from an experienced Keris collector and senior educator in Malaysia, Cikgu Nordin Abdul Hamid, this is an example of design features and details. Of course, this is just for reference sake to illustrate what constitutes as design elements. At this point in time, I hope you are all still with me and have yet to reach out for that slab of headache reliever yet, yeah? As we dive deeper into this subject, it is going to get more interesting and confusing at the same time for some. But if you are going to set yourself out to be a serious collector, these are basic foundations that you must understand and grasp before you progress any further. Enjoy the journey of learning and then pass on what you have learned. In this hobby, there is no right or wrong. The ultimate philosophical truth behind each Keris build and design, rightfully, is held by the people who produced them. So there is no need for aggressive debates amongst ourselves due to differences in opinions. Every opinion matters, every opinion is valid. Acceptance, however, is entirely up to individual reasoning. This hobby is all about appreciation. The more accepting you are of possibilities, the more likely you will enjoy this hobby in all its mind-boggling glory. For me, each design element on a blade is there for a reason. It is not there purely by coincidence or for decorative aesthetics. It serves both as a functional and decorative offering at the same time. It also reflects the ingenuity of the Malays, hiding in plain sight, just like nature, how something deadly can actually be camouflaged to merge and match inconspicuously into the background. So too are the dynamics of the Malay mind. Teach the wise and mislead the foolish. The Keris is a manuscript that cannot be read like scripture in the form of a book, but rather a reading of the heart. Something for you to reflect and ponder upon. We have come to the end of today's episode. Thank you for watching till the end. I hope today's video adds value to you and that you have learned something from watching this. I look forward to reading your feedback in the comment section, so please feel free to leave your comments. If you like what you have watched today and feel that more useful videos, guides are required, please show me your support by clicking the like, subscribe and bell notification icon. So, until we meet in the next video, this is Khairi Johari, better known as Pak Jofe, the Keris Collector from Singapore, snapping out. See you in my next video. Bye-bye.